My name is Jack Rhodes. I'm 84 now, and I want to tell you about the closest I ever came to building a business with Warren Buffett. It was the mid-90s. I was finally in. Not rich on paper, real cash flow, real contracts, real momentum. That's the most dangerous moment in a man's life, because once you survive the hard years, you start believing speed is intelligence. I met Buffett at a small event, quiet room, quiet people, no glamour. After he spoke, I got a few minutes with him. Not a fan moment, a conversation. I told him what I did, logistics and distribution. The boring infrastructure nobody brags about until the world runs out of supply. He listened. Then he asked a question that cut straight through my ego. Why do you want to scale? I gave the answer ambitious men give when they're half drunk on momentum. Because the opportunity is now. He didn't argue. He just looked at me and said, "Opportunity isn't permission to move fast."
That sentence stayed with me like a splinter.
A few weeks later, a group approached me with a deal that looked perfect on paper. Regional distribution platform, new warehouses, better routes, big clients, the kind of plan that makes you imagine your name on buildings. They praised my track record. They used words like inevitable. And then they dropped the line that made my heart beat louder than my brain. We're close to bringing Buffett into it. Not as an operator, not as a daily partner, just as an anchor, someone who would validate the project and attract capital. And I'll be honest, my ego lit up like gasoline. Because when you're an immigrant kid who once counted coins for groceries, a famous name feels like protection, like a shield. That night, I couldn't sleep. I wasn't thinking about warehouses. I was thinking about headlines. So I did the only thing that saved me. I asked myself one brutal question. If the name disappears, is the deal still good?
The next morning, I stopped listening to the story and started reading the structure.
The projections required perfect growth. The margins assumed nothing would go wrong. The contracts were expected, not secured. And the control structure was interesting. Then the paperwork arrived. A contract so clean it felt expensive. Perfect spacing, perfect language. The kind of document that tries to make you feel foolish for asking questions. I read the first pages. It was all sunshine, responsibilities, deliverables, timelines, shared success. Then I turned to the parts most people avoid: control clauses, exit terms, penalties. And there it was, one section that changed the power balance completely. If I left, I paid. If results slipped, I lost control. If they changed their minds, I still carried the risk. In plain English, they didn't want a partner. They wanted a driver, a man to operate the machine, absorb the blame, and hold the liability, while they kept the steering wheel.
I called them and asked for revisions.
I asked for balanced control, clear exit terms, mutual penalties, real accountability on both sides. Their response was immediate. Pressure. Time sensitive. Don't overthink. Everyone else is ready. We'll lose the window. And that's when I understood something old money learns early. When a deal needs speed, it's usually because truth needs time. I slowed down even more. I asked for one more call, one more round of edits, and the tone changed. The friendliness dried up, the patience vanished. That told me everything. The Buffett piece, whether it was real, exaggerated, or bait, stopped mattering. Because a good deal doesn't need a famous name to feel safe. A good deal stands on fundamentals. A bad deal leans on a story. I walked away. And I'll tell you something that might sound stupid until you've lived it. The hardest no is the one you say to the version of yourself that wants to feel chosen. Because that's what fame does.
It makes you feel selected. So here's the rule I want you to steal from me. Never join a deal because a famous person might be near it. Never build your confidence on borrowed credibility. If the fundamentals don't survive without the fantasy, it's a trap. Tomorrow I'll tell you about the partner I trusted because he prayed with me. And that one cost more than money.